Hi folks, Matthew Lanigan here with BayWa RE. We're just going to give it another minute or two. I still see people logging in and we'll be back with you here shortly. Thanks so much. Hi folks, Matthew Lanigan here again with BayWa RE. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer here at BayWa. I head up sales and marketing. Really like to thank you all for taking the time to be with us in Unirac today. Just a couple of housekeeping notes. There will be a chat box for your questions down in the bottom right corner. So if you wouldn't mind just putting your questions in there, we'll do our best to answer those in real time. This will be recorded and will be available in the November monthly newsletter. If you'd like a copy earlier than that, please just reach out to one of your sales reps and we can definitely help you out with that. Continuing education is really important to BayWa for our staff as well as our customers. So thank you once again for joining us. Unirac's been a fantastic partner for us here over the years. They're, I believe, 20 plus years now in the business. Fantastic technical support. So really happy to have them with us here today. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Chris Berg, who's Commercial Support Manager, and Tristen Foley, the Product Manager, to talk a little bit about their commercial flat roof ballasted options.
Hi, I am Chris Berg, Commercial Solutions Manager here at Unirac, and have been at Unirac since July 2020 and in the solar industry since June of 2008. Then we've got Tristen.
And I'm Tristen Foley. I'm the product manager here at Unirac, focusing primarily on our flat roof business. Been with Unirac for about 1.5 years and started looking at flat roof products probably 3 months ago.
Okay. And we've prepared a presentation to kind of cover our commercial services team and our support structure here and the services we provide, and then also run through a few of our racking products. We'll get started right there. So Unirac, as was mentioned, has been in business 22 years. We've got over 1 million installations out there in the world and over 8 gigawatts of total wattage out there. We're one of the very few racking companies that have been in business almost as long as our warranty. We cover a 25-year warranty, and that's something we're real proud of. That we've been around long enough to actually support our warranty length. I think that's an important note, and something that BayWa and your customers should be asking other racking competitors about. You know, how's your warranty do? We have a complete product portfolio driven by innovation. We're always looking to improve our products. One of our tenets here at Unirac is continuous improvement, and that works on our products as well as all our services and our individuals who work here. We're always looking to get better at what we're doing. My team is the commercial services team. We're dedicated to the commercial side of solar. We provide designs, permitting, and installation support. And we have a very robust supply chain. I'm sure many of you have experienced disruptions to being able to get product. And I think Unirac has done a much better job than some of our competitors weathering that storm. And we have product on hand and are able to ship basically with our standard lead time still, which is a really great thing we're seeing, that is not something that our competitors are able to do lately. So
on that note as well, we truly value the partnership that we have with BayWa and team, and we like to share that transparency when it comes to the supply chain and commodity management to make sure that we're communicating clearly and on time with our customers, so you know what to expect when you're designing projects and building.
Exactly. And we have that tagline at the bottom: the equipment decision that will define how your project is built. We feel that our racking products are better than everybody else's. That's a slanted view, of course, but choosing racking can have a tremendous impact on how your project goes. From crane time to installation labor to later on down the road, having to replace module level power electronics, modules over time, so O&M processes down the road as well. So we're looking at the system as a whole. That's how we think about it here at Unirac. Is it's a whole system we're providing and supporting here.
And with that acquisition of Equilibrium last year, that they have those same value props and they carry that same the environment that they have at their culture with their company. So we wanted to bring that on our team and merge those teams together and support the customer through the whole project cycle, and not just sell someone some racking and not talk to them anymore.
Exactly. Great. Let's go to the next one. All right, commercial services. We'll go to the next one. Great. So we like to think of our team as part of your team. We like to say around here, make your problem our problem. We want to fix issues. We want to help your customers through the design process, help them make a racking choice. And in order to do that, we do have dedicated commercial project managers, account managers, and applications engineers who work just on the commercial side of the business. We are a very experienced team, so over hundreds of years of solar experience combined in the commercial services department, and we are able to design somewhere in the neighborhood of 225 projects a week, and that is getting them inputted, designed, and turned back around to BayWa and everybody else there, our customers, and we can compare multiple fully designed options for your project. So we will run multiple racking options for you and help you choose which one is the right fit for your project. We understand that projects have different criteria that they need to hit, and sometimes the product you have asked for may not be the best fit for that project, and we're happy to work with you to find the best solution. We have lots of options, and we feel that we should never have to walk away from a project because we couldn't find the right racking product for that site. So we, full commercial support team, stamped engineering, construction drawing, system layout, and engineering. We'll go to the next slide. And so here we go. So basically just, running through it again here, safe design on any size commercial project. Like I said, we can do mechanical roof attachment design. We'll help you choose your best option. We do revisions at no cost. We obviously understand that as the design cycle and the project life cycle moves forward, there are things that come up that perhaps weren't known when we did the first draft of a design. You may get reduced roof loads. Structure isn't as strong as it was initially anticipated. There are vents that weren't on the initial drawings. Modules move around. You change modules. All kinds of things can have an impact. And we will do revisions on designs, no problem. It's what we're here to do, and there's no cost for that. We also can provide PE stamped engineer drawings, signed and sealed. We have letters, for all 50 states and Canada. We can do that as well. I know this is a Canada specific webinar, so I'll try and cater it that way moving forward here. But yeah, we can get things stamped and turned around for you. No problem at all there. And we also can do construction drawings for you. These are more detailed than what you would get initially. They are what you can use to build off of. And we typically can provide these all the time, but we sometimes kind of want to hold off on that until we get more of a finalized design. These take a little bit longer to put together, but happy to do that for you. And like I said, these can be stamped for whatever AHJ requirements you have. Great. And there's no fee for those as well. Sorry about that. And then here's some of our typical turnaround times for design. So we try and get designs back in that 2 to 3 business day turn time. Sometimes things get very busy here and that extends out, but we are tracking that daily and weekly to make sure that our turn times are not too long. And we realize that the solar industry can move quickly sometimes, and you need a design turned around very quickly. We have people who work overseas who do designs for us overnight. And so if we get a design in and it is a what we call a fire rush, we can have things turned around in 24 hours. But we are constantly tracking that. In fact, we held a meeting this morning where we looked at it, and right now our current turn time is 3.5 days. So it's a little on the higher side than we'd like it, but we've also seen some pretty high volume lately.
And we're constantly expanding that team as well to make sure we keep up with the volume. Like Chris mentioned, we did 225 about a week.
Yep.
Not too long ago, that capacity was only 100. So we are continuously to expand those teams and make sure we're keeping up with the volume that's coming in.
Yes. And then we've got site-specific PE stamp drawings. Those take a little longer, 6 to 8 business days. And the reason for that is the PE has to look over everything, and they have their own schedule that they're adhering to. But we're constantly trying to give updates to our customers, to BayWa here, and trying to we want to avoid over promising and under deliver. So we feel we're very transparent on these turn times, and more than welcome to reach out to my team. And if you are not getting the things you need back in a timely fashion, we'll take care of that and make sure that you do moving forward. Great. The fastest way to get a project into our layout queue is to submit a quote request using our quote request form. That gives us all of the information we need to do a layout. We understand that sometimes you don't have access to those forms, or your customer hasn't provided it to you. So basic things that we need in order to do a design. If you have a layout, and we'd love to get the CAD file or the helioscope. You could also just say fill the roof. We do that often. Fit as much on this roof as you possibly can. We always love to have the module data sheet telling us just you're using a Jinko 400 watt module. Doesn't do us a lot of good, because Jinko could have several modules that are 400 watt that all have a different frame profile or size, different capacities. So having that module data sheet ensures that we are using the correct information to create your ballast plan. We also want, at a minimum, the project name and address. Always helps to know where this is. That drives the site conditions, wind speed, snow loads, all of that building specific zip code based information. The building code you guys are under, And then project tilt. So, you know, what degree tilt are you looking for? I realize Canada is mostly a 10-degree market, but we do also offer 5-degree and east-west systems. If you have roof details, we'd love that. Structural capacity is a big one. We also understand, though, that you may not know that when you're first designing or quoting out a project. Typically, that information may come later once the project is given the go-ahead and you guys are really digging in on what the building can actually support. But we do need to know the roof membrane material, the parapet height, if there is a parapet, building height, and then if you are okay with having some attachments or if you'd like it to be fully ballasted if possible. The reason for the membrane material, we run friction coefficient testing on all our products so that we know how they interact with all of the different roof types out there, EPDM, TPO, ballasted, gravel, all that good stuff, mineral cap sheet. And that plays into our ballasting calculations. If it's a very slippery surface, it takes more weight to keep the array from moving. Another thing that actually isn't mentioned on this is roof slope. That plays a big role too. Ballasted products are good for roofs that have a slope of 0 to 7 degrees. But as you get closer to that 7-degree threshold, we may need to add attachments to prevent what we call the inchworm effect on a roof. Inchworming is where an array will slowly work its way downhill as it expands and contracts through thermal cycling. And so we put attachments typically starting once we get above 3 degrees on a roof to prevent that inchworm effect. So it's important that we know what the roof slope is. And then the parapet and roof height, that ties directly into our wind tunnel testing. It's kind of counterintuitive, but taller parapets are actually worse for ballasted systems, which is crazy to think about actually. It's extremely counterintuitive, but it has to do with the way the wind drops back down to the roof after it comes up over the building and hits that parapet and drops back down. It creates these vortices that create really turbulent air and create higher uplift values in the corners. So it's important that we have the parapet heights dialed in because that can have actually a pretty significant effect on the wind tunnel studies that we have. And then roof height's the same way. The taller a building, the worse the wind gets.
Guys, we have a question here.
Yep.
Jose is asking, for residential projects, are you able to assist with the structural capacity of the roof if we just provide pictures from the roof inspection?
So we do not. That is kind of outside of our scope of work. We do work with some third-party engineers who can take that on for an additional fee, but kind of our scope of work stops at the roof membrane. We are responsible for membrane up. Anything below that falls on the structural engineer of record.
Just coming back to this quote request, a lot of that information can be found when you're going through that process, if I'm not mistaken, Chris.
Yes.
So you don't have to remember top
That's
of your
right.
mind that you got to remember 20 things to put in there. As you're going and filling out that form, we ask for everything that you can input there. And so the more information you provide, less churn, less turn time that's going to happen, questions going back and forth. Just kind of mitigate that at the beginning. You can find this on our website as well, the quote request document. Yep. To submit that to the team.
Great. And we also offer on-site field support. So we have what we call ISSs, and those are installer sales specialists. Their whole job is to, go to job sites, help customers, installers with their projects, give them tips and tricks on how to make their install as efficient as possible. That's a free service that we offer. Happy to, do that. We can get that set up. I know with COVID, travel between our countries has been limited, but hopefully we're turning the corner on this pandemic and we can get back to being able to provide that support.
And this team is best in the industry. They can train your crews on new products. They can go help you best practices, how to stage sites, from everything from the beginning to the end of a project cycle. And they range the whole country. So we can contact our team. We can figure something out.
Yeah, I believe they're all NAPCEP certified, actually.
I believe so as well.
Yeah, pretty cool team. All right, so I was going to run through some of the products that we offer. So this webinar is obviously focused on the ballasted flat roof and just a few of our products there. But Unirac also provides pitched roof solutions. So we have railless products, railed products, and tilted up products as well. You know, you can talk to your contacts on my team or our outside sales team or the account managers or BayWa even, and you know, submit quote requests for those products as well. We also offer two ground mount options. So we have a product called GFT, which stands for ground fixed tilt, and then ULA, which is our universal large array products. Single pile for the GFT comes in 20 and 30 degree tilts, and then ULA is more of a grid structure on the ground, sort of.
Less construction equipment required for the ULA type system. It's dual post. A lot of customers tend to use it on residential, smaller sites where they can't get construction equipment in the backyard.
Yep.
People have used it for larger scale. It's landscape options. You can go up to 5 high in landscape, whereas GFT, you're the 2 high in portrait. GFT is very kitted. You have hardware each post. Won't get too much into details in this. Focus more on our middle section there, the ballasted flat roof.
Yep. And then actually EcoFoot 2 Plus is a pretty cool ground mount option as well. We've had customers install it on the ground after preparing the ground with like a weed cover and gravel. We've had it installed directly on parking lots. It's also great for brownfield sites or landfills where you can't actually have anything penetrating the ground. So it's another option and a pretty diversified product there. And then our ballasted flat roof. So we do have 6 options right now for ballasted flat roof, which is a pretty awesome product portfolio there. So we have 2 Plus, EcoFoot 2 Plus, EcoFoot 5D, RM10, RMDT, which is our dual tilt system, RM5, and then GridFlex 5. We will be adding a GridFlex 10 option here in probably late first quarter
2022
of 2022. And then we are revamping, and we'll get into this a little bit later. The RM10 product will now, it'll be called RM10 Evo, and we'll talk about some of the differences coming up here between RM10 and what the new product RM10 Evo will be, which will be available probably early December here. So, well, like I said earlier, we have a solution for just about every roof out there. And so we can optimize any project using, you know, our pretty versatile portfolio. I'm happy to do that, happy to run, as I mentioned before, multiple designs for a site to make sure that we get the one that works, you know, specifically for your site.
Yep, like Chris mentioned, we pride ourselves at Unirac at being a one-stop shop, and every roof is unique, every roof is different. You're gonna need different tilt options, maybe row spacing. So we have this vast portfolio so we can go and solve those issues and not just cookie cutter, throw something out there and maybe not need what you need for that project.
And guys, we have another question here. We have Clayton asking, when will Unirac start producing higher tilt angles for flat roofs? We have multiple 1 to 5 megawatt systems coming on that needs greater tilt than 15 degree.
Yeah, so I don't know that in our product roadmap we have anything greater than 10 degrees right now. A great option might be, and this would be an attached system, unfortunately, not ballasted, our Ascender option, which will be released here. When is that coming out?
Later this year.
So that will be able to be tilted. What is those angles? Do you remember off the
top of my head? I can't remember. I know we're kind of doing a focus launch for it at the beginning and get some market feedback, but it would be a fully attached system. You use kind of the rails on a residential system as the full structure. It's very, very affordable, very slick system to install. But yeah, that's good feedback to have
yes.
and place into our product portfolio and look at developing.
Yep. And so we're giving this webinar from our Albuquerque headquarters. I work out of our Boulder R&D lab. I have seen the Ascender product in our lab being tugged on and pushed on, and it is a very strong, rigid system. I've been really impressed with how it's held up on some of the testing that we've done. And so, unfortunately, we don't have a ballasted option that is greater than 10 degrees, but the Ascender, I think, would be a good fit if you can stomach some attachments.
Yep.
But I've seen the spans be pretty good, and like I said, it is. I was very impressed with how strong and rigid it was when we were pulling on it in the R&D lab.
If you want to reach out, any questions, we can talk more about it, following this webinar.
Yep, great. So I'm going to run through this slide, and then I'm going to we'll stop sharing the presentation, and we'll actually pull some product over. But right now, so EcoFoot 2 Plus, it is a legacy product from Equilibrium Solar. It only has 3 components, which are the base, the clamp. It's a universal clamp, so it works for module thicknesses 29 millimeters to 50 millimeters, so that covers just about everybody out there. And then it has a wind deflector, and the wind deflector is on every module. That wind deflector really helps reduce the ballast required on these systems. It's also a very slick and sleek system. You can see in this picture that we are able to tuck the north row. So on real roof constrained, or on really space constrained roofs, you can basically design right up to the module on that north edge because you can tuck the bases. We actually have a field fix that can allow you to tuck the south row as well. That does require some field modification of cutting the high tower down, but you are able to tuck that as well. One of the side effects of tucking the south row is you can only fit 1 block underneath. So in those scenarios, we would have to add mid base there to get the ballast down. But another option, another trick up the sleeve, if you do have a really tight roof and you're trying to cram as much on there as possible. The inner row space on 2 Plus is 18.9 inches. That allows plenty of space to walk through the inner row and get to, MLPEs later on if you need to service those. Allows for really quick, easy installation. And it's a modular design. You'll notice that we have a 13.6 module per hour installation rate. That is not Equilibrium or Unirac's number. We had that third party tested by DNVGL, and that's the number they came up with. That test was pretty interesting. It was 3 people who'd never seen our product before, and they ran a timed test 3 times, and they came up to 13.6 modules per labor hour. I've seen crews go way faster than that once they get humming and are familiar with the product. Very fast to install. I think it's probably the fastest installation on the market, and will save you time and labor. Like I said, it's modular design, so it's very flexible to make changes on the roof on the fly, and it's equally suited here for large and small sites. We've done projects as large as 3 megawatts with it. We've done projects as small as a single module with it. So I'm sure you guys have projects that fall somewhere in between there.
Guys, and we have a question. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
We have a question from Lee. Can the EcoFoot 2 be ordered with a safety membrane on the bottom that is approved for use with the commercial roof membranes?
Yeah, so we offer the base, we call it bare, so that's how it would come just standard. There's nothing on the bottom of it. We also do offer it with a EPDM slip sheet on the bottom. They're actually slip strips, and we always defer to the roofer or the person who holds the roof warranty. It's always up to them on what they will approve. What I found is many warranty holders on roofs want a sacrificial sheet underneath anything coming in contact with their roof, regardless of whether or not the base we have is bare or comes with those slip strips. We have seen some roof manufacturers approve the slip strips on a case-by-case basis, but it is always our recommendation to check with the roof warranty holder on what they want to see. the slip sheets that go underneath the EcoFoot 2+ base, we recommend that they extend at least an inch out from the base completely. So it's 2 inches larger in all dimensions around the base. And that's, again, based on what we've heard from roofers and roof manufacturers on what they prefer to see. But yeah, always defer. We do have that option for the slip strip. We also have friction coefficients for that, so there's no problem in us designing with or without those. But yeah, always check with the roof warranty holder, because they're ultimately the ones who will deny or approve a warranty claim down the road.
Yep. And that information about the roof type is pivotal when we're going through that design process, like we mentioned earlier. So communicating everything that's going into a project, we can always figure out a solution. We typically have something in our back pocket to help get the project going.
Great. Another highlight here of EcoFoot 2+ is its packing density. The bases nest within each other, and so you're able to fit about 300, I think, bases on a standard pallet. So that reduces, because of that packing density, your crane time. Cranes can be very expensive, and so the less picks you have, the better off you're going to be on that cost. And so very, very high packing density with this product. It also comes, basically, the clamps come fully assembled, and you can stack and pre-assemble the clamp. And we've timed this. It takes about 8 seconds to get a base ready to go. So really awesome product, really great for the Canadian market, because of that tilt angle, and then the inner row space, which allows a greater sun angle so you don't get shade on the modules up north there. So I think what we'll do now is we'll stop sharing the presentation. We'll grab some bases and just kind of highlight some of the features in those products. So, as you can see, this is how they come, stacked just like this. So you can see they're very, dense packing capacity here. The clamps come just banded, just like this, totally pre-assembled. There is a difference in the clamps. Oops, banded, rubber band. The difference between them is the north side has a stud on it to receive our wind deflector, as the south side does not have that. So that's how you tell the difference between the two clamps. Like I mentioned, prepping a base is as simple as placing, can you see that? Yep. Placing the clamp into the north tower, grabbing these pins that come, and popping it on, and now you're good to go. That's as simple as it is to prep a base. Can't be faster. I mean, it's the base allows the clamp and base interaction here allows for roof undulation, so it does rock a little bit. EcoFoot can accommodate base to base tilt changes up to 5 degrees in the north, south, and east, west dimension. So we realize, flat roofs, we call them flat roofs, they're not really flat, right? You have drains, you have scuppers, all those things, and the foam can be different thicknesses as you get closer to those drains. So EcoFoot really can accommodate those things very easily, very quickly. And another trick is, if you do run into a section of roof that has a greater than 5 degree change, you can actually add a second base underneath that one to help take up some of that angle. So very quick field changes, modifications. We also offer with that product a mid support, and this would be for high snow load areas, or what we're seeing more and more in the market are these really large modules that are, greater than 85 inches long, 84 inches long, up to 90 inches. This product here, I had it upside down. This product here snaps onto the return flange of the module and then sits in the middle of the span between the two bases. It does come with a pre-applied EPDM pad on it, and then there is a north side and a south side. And so we've seen really, really great results with this in high snow load areas. So in Canada, this would be something that I would recommend once we get kind of above that 30 PSF number. And sometimes on the thinner module frame, so that 30 millimeter module frame, we might want these on that even below 30 PSF, just to make sure that we're not sacrificing production later on through high snow loads and deflection of the module. So,
okay. Along with these clamps, one of the other features is that shared. So having a shared module clamp. So what that allows you to do is share some of that structural rigidity between the two module frames, which is another great advantage. Increases the install speed.
Yep. Great. Let's go back
And
to
guys,
any questions on this? Yes.
Yeah, there's one more. Do the slip sheets have approval with any of the big membrane manufacturers, Carlisle, Firestone, etc.?
So are you talking, so on the slip strips applied to the bottom of the base, we do not have blanket approval on those. Again, we found that most roofing manufacturers with those want the slip strip or the slip sheet to match exactly what is on the roof. And it would be impossible for us to have all of those different manufacturers out there and available. We do not sell the slip sheet. That would be something you'd have to reach out to the roofer for. The slip strips on the bottom we chose EPDM because it is the least reactive with all of the different types of roofing material out there. But it is just an EPDM slip strip. And I'll actually show you on one of these faces where those are. So on the bottom of the base, we have channels to provide water drainage, right? So you don't want to block it or anything. So the slip strips actually end up on these channels on the bases. And it's not the whole base at all. When you do slip sheets, you're going to have a slip sheet that covers the whole base and just extends out past it a little ways. But again, we did design this so that there are channels for the water to escape, so you're not creating, dams on the roof, creating leaks later on. Great. All right, let's go back to the presentation. 5D. All right. So 5 degree EcoFoot 5D is the little brother of EcoFoot 2 Plus. It has the same universal clamps. Is exactly the same as 2 Plus. The base is just a shrunken down version of the 2 Plus base. Inner row on this is 9.8 inches, so a much tighter inner row. Once we shrank down the base, we didn't have any place to put ballast, so we created a ballast tray that runs in the inner row, and then also a wind deflector, as just like 2 Plus. And then we have a mid support kit as well. That mid support for 5D is not an optional product, just like it was on the 2 Plus. This is the mid support goes on every module to module connection there. It actually provides our grounding north-south, which is an advantage it has over 2 Plus. EcoFoot 5D requires 1 grounding point per subarray, or up to, I believe it's 400 modules, because of that mid support. And that mid support allows you to walk across the ballast tray either loaded or unloaded with ballast. And so, it's a sturdy product there. Like I said, 9.8 inch inner row, which is tight, but not so tight that you can't walk down the rows. But again, really great product. Again, stackable, just like 2 Plus. Yeah, and like I said, some improvements over 2 Plus with the grounding capabilities. But again, overall, a really cool, really dense product. Some major differences. You cannot tuck the north row with 5D, and you can't tuck the south row. But we haven't seen a lot of requests for that lately, just because the inner row is so much tighter. You're able to fit more modules on the roof as compared to 2 Plus. But yeah, let's stop sharing and I'll show that mid support just so that we can see that. It comes, so there's the base again, stackable, just like 2 Plus. This mid support, a little different than the one we just saw. It actually has 2 pieces. So you have the high side and the low side. These go underneath the ballast tray. They slide together, and then we have a self-tapping screw that screws it down. This also bites into the ballast tray, so you have a fully grounded, bonded connection north-south with these. Grabs the return flange again, and these rock on. It's actually pretty slick how these work. They have this little circle and groove there that allows you to snap it on, and it comes at an angle, and then you just rotate it down and it locks it in, bites into the anodization of the module frame, and creates that bonded connection. So pretty slick product here. All right, any questions on 5D?
Not seeing any at the moment.
Okay, great. So let's go back to the presentation and then we can talk about it.
Quickly jump in, time check.
Yeah, how are we doing on time?
Right on
17 minutes.
Okay, great.
15 minutes.
So let's go to the next one. Great, RM10. So this is, how long's RM10 been in the market? It's like forever, right? I
It's
mean,
been in there for, I'd say, 7-8 years
Yeah.
at least.
so
It's tried and true. It's been done on multiple installations, from the small single modules like Chris had mentioned earlier to the huge
yes.
installation. As you can see, this one is a picture of Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. So it's done everything, small, large, and we've decided to kind of make some updates to the system since it's been out so long. It's trusted, but we have heard some feedback on how we can make it a little bit better.
Yes. So in its current iteration, RM10 is only 2 components. It is the bay and a clamp. And that's it.
Okay.
Best EcoFoot 2 Plus by 1. So, but awesome product. I believe it's a 19.5-inch inner row, so a little greater than 2 Plus, but in that same realm. And it's been out tried and true. In distribution, it's a fantastic product.
The learning curve to install one of these systems is probably the easiest in the industry.
Yep.
Like Chris mentions, 2 components. You get on the roof, get your crew trained up right away, and you can get people turning quickly. EcoFoot is also similar in that realm, and that's why we thought these two would be paired greatly together.
Yep. Yeah, little different in how EcoFoot functions. RM10 kind of moves in from the corner clamping that EcoFoot 2 Plus has, and is closer, if not at the module recommended mounting locations. So that's a plus over 2 Plus. And you can also add ballast, or I'm sorry, RM10 bays when necessary. Supplemental bays, thank you for that. Supplemental bays when you need to add more ballast or in high snow load areas, and you're just looking for more support, especially with the large modules that are coming out. So let's go to the next slide.
Into Evo.
Yeah, so RM10 Evolution is the product we mentioned briefly earlier that will be available coming here in December. So it is a reduced inner row space. We went from 19.5 down to 13. And we've improved the clamp on it. So
if I could mention real quick.
in.
Yeah, no. So the reason for bringing that row spacing into 13 inches, we heard a lot of feedback from customers that they want this higher tilt angle, but be able to fit more modules on the roof. And so by reducing that, we're able to pack 15% more modules on some of the larger projects out there, which means you're getting more power output out of that project than you were before. And then again, you're going into that clamp improvement. It's been out on the market for years and multiple thousands of installations. And we've received feedback on how we can make it just slightly better. And so we've increased that surface area between the module and that bolt connection to help mitigate some of the negatives that were happening a little bit before with some installations.
Yep. Something else to note, RM10 and RM10 Evo, neither one of those products has a wind deflector anywhere within the system. So this is our go-to product for bifacial modules. we see more and more customers using a bifacial module. In the beginning, that was because they were exempt from the tariffs, and so they were cheaper. But we're seeing more and more customers use them now, looking for backside production gains. The fact that this does not have a deflector means that you're getting more reflected light off the roof, and therefore, hopefully greater backside production gains. Unirac does not quite yet understand what those gains are. We're actually really looking to our customers to help us understand that. So obviously, the more input we get from our customers on what they're seeing with RM10 Evo and RM10 with bifacial modules, if we could get feedback on that, that would be awesome. That would help us quantify what those backside gains might be. So I think we'll turn it off again and then just show we've got two RM10 Evo bays here. A few differences between RM10 and RM10 Evo that we want to highlight. So,
and we do have a question. Does
great.
the RM10 module attachment points have snow loading approval from module manufacturers to retain module warranty, or are the additional midpoint supports required?
No, so we do have module approvals on many modules. We're always working to get more approvals, and we have part of our UL listing means that we have to test modules and get snow loads, and you'll find that information in our installation manuals. We maintain a UL 2703 approved module list for our products. And there's a distinction between compatible and approved. And I want to make that distinction very clear here. So compatible means it works with our racking. We are able to clamp it. We don't have concerns about warranty claims with our product with the module. Everything we feel is compliant. It does not mean that we've actually maybe tested that module. And so the UL 2703 approved list means that we have run grounding and bonding, mechanical loading with these modules. They are part of our UL 2703 listing.
The good thing about RM10 being out for as long as it is, that list of approved modules is very long, and it expands every month. We're continuously getting feedback from customers. Hey, this is the module we plan to use next year. If we can get that information ahead of time, we can go ahead and set up that testing, get it approved. So if you can share the module information that you're using with BayWa and some of the other partners, we can get that stuff approved ahead of time.
Yep.
Instead of fire rushing something last minute, hey, we have a project next week, to try to get approved.
Yep. And part of our R&D lab in Boulder, part of their job there is to test and approve modules.
Yep.
We're satellite test lab there, so Solar PTL, CSA, and Intertech all fall under, or our satellite test lab falls under their purview. So we run the test, they review the test, and they approve or tell us something else needs to be done. But we can do all that work in our Boulder lab. We never want to lose a project because we don't have that listing.
Yep.
And so we can turn those things around fairly quickly depending on how full that schedule is in the lab. Typically, the longest part of that process of getting a module tested and approved is actually getting the module shipped to the Boulder lab. Once we have them in-house, we're able to turn that around in about 2 weeks.
Yep.
And that includes testing and review and then certification. So good stuff. Biggest difference between RM10 and RM10 Evo is we do now have a north bay. So this bay would actually go underneath the module. So it would fit, your module's coming this direction. This actually sits under the module. We went to that because it actually impacts our ballasting pretty dramatically.
Yep.
We have something with RM10 we call the wheelbarrow effect. And so you can see in this scenario, if your module was going this way, right? So you're on the high side, module's going back this way, ballast is here. You're not fully realizing the full capacity of that ballast. So you have to add more blocks to this north row to get the weight because there's a wheelbarrow effect, right? The module pressures are here, and so it wants to rock. And so we went through and we changed up the design. So now north row should see a drastic reduction in the number of blocks required. That's going to play a key role in point loads and then overall PSF values of the system. So on those systems where you have a relatively low PSF limit, you should see a pretty great reduction in the north row with RM10 Evo.
And reducing the overall number of blocks you're purchasing for a project, the number of blocks you're lugging up to the roof as well. Just overall improvement on a project.
Yep, and we also updated the clamp. We've revamped how we do it. We've added this, what do you call this? Caps nut. Yep. So it would now come in contact with the module frame. And as you tighten, it doesn't spin on the frame. You have this star washer there that bites through the anodization, and then provides that grounded bonded connection. This is actually a really huge improvement over RM10. So
that's one of the biggest feedbacks we received with RM10 over the years. You're having that bolt connection directly into the module frame, which if you're not careful, you can end up puncturing the module, avoiding some warranties. So we increased the surface area by 150%, which it results in some increased strength to help prevent some of that from happening if we're not careful with watching, what torque are we're torquing those bolts down to.
Great.
That also provides the grounding and bonding between the system with that star washer being able to connect to that module frame.
Yep. Pretty awesome. Shall we go back to the presentation? Any questions?
Yeah, there's one more here. Which of the Unirac systems offers the lowest distributed pounds per square foot? How do you typically address buildings that have limited structural capacity but don't want to put 1,000 holes into their roof?
Yeah, so those are great questions. So 2+ typically is the lightest system we have in 10 degrees. And PSF is a really funny thing, right? Because 2+ has a wind deflector everywhere, it naturally requires less ballast. But it also has a greater inner row space, right? So if your footprint is smaller and your concentrated weight is in a smaller area, you have a higher PSF value. And so because of the greater inner row space compared to 5D or RM10 Evo, your PSF values are lower. What we are seeing though is with RM10 Evo, it has a much better ballasting result than RM10. We actually ran some new wind tunnel data with it. We've optimized some of our tools to reduce the ballast required for those systems. But yeah, and another option to get to the other question, second part of that question about reducing the number of penetrations into a roof. We can do fully ballasted when we are able to hit those PSF limits. We can do fully attached when they're ridiculously low. We've done fully attached systems for roofs that had like a 2.5 PSF limit. But we also see lots of hybrid systems where we add strategic attachments in the areas where the roof may have the lowest capacity, or in areas where there would be higher ballasting requirements, such as like single rows, single columns, corner areas. And so we can strategically place attachment points to get the PSF value where it needs to be. Hopefully I answered that. All right, and then check our time here. So we got a few minutes. Quickly, I wanted to run through some of the accessories we offer as well. Flashlock RM is a really awesome attachment. It's provided by Unirac. It's a Unirac product. It does not necessarily require a roofer to install it, so it saves plenty of time on the cost to do attachments. It's also a very quick attachment to install because you're not heat welding anything down. You are actually installing a sealant along the bottom and then driving your screws and then adding the ChemLink 1-part pour into it to make it a fully flashed watertight seal. Tremendous uplift capacity, 6,600 pounds, over 6,600 pounds of ultimate uplift. And we do have module approval, or I'm sorry, roof approval letters for this product. And we can provide those.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, we've discussed with multiple manufacturers to get that approval so it doesn't void the warranty as long as it's installed per the Unirac instructions. So you can have that peace of mind. You're no longer needing to heat weld, buy those different membranes to make sure you're compatible with the membrane you're on. It's just an overall great, easy product to install, and it's very affordable. It's not something that's going to break the bank when you're trying to go and purchase it. The one thing that we do need to know or work with an engineer to figure out are the roof type or the fasteners that you're going to need to install. So we have seen that you need various lengths or type of screws to be able to install depending on the roof type. So similar to that roof membrane, understanding which ones you're going to need for those slip sheets. There is a slightly an extra step, but you're going to do that with every attachment that's on the market as well.
And I want to touch again, you said something very key there, extremely competitively priced. I think you'll be very happy when you get a quote from BayWa on this product. Very competitively priced. And then also the labor savings and roofer savings. We also offer what we call eco mount kits. This is to mount inverters on a roof. Basically, it is the EcoFoot 2 Plus base with some aluminum stanchions and then a strut profile. So you mount your inverter right next to your array. We also offer Eco Tray, which is a wire management tray that fits underneath all of our products, I believe. So you can run home runs in that. We can help you with a bill of materials on that. We also offer several MLPE brackets. We have one for the EcoFoot product line, and it is super simple to install. Basically, it is this piece here. We've got this. This is part of our listing as well. Can accommodate the heaviest AP systems. I think four module inverters. I think those weigh up to like 15 pounds or so. This is able to handle those as well as the super light, Tigos or Solar Edge. It is just as simple as getting it underneath the groove on the clamp, dropping it in, and then that same pin just slides through it. And it's bonded completely through the racking system. Really slick. We also offer the module MLPE bracket. The one pictured there is called the Tiger Clip. Very strong, very secure, bonded as well. And then we sell wire clips, lay-in lugs, all the accessories. Unirac wants to be the one-stop shop for all things racking related. And so we pride ourselves on being that, from design, iteration, all the way through shipping on time and providing everything you could possibly need to mount modules, MLPEs, wires, all that stuff. We want to provide all of that for you.
And we really want to listen to the market. So if you have feedback on things that we can help develop or offer to make your experience better, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'd love to hear that feedback. I know the greater than 10-degree tilt, that's great feedback to hear.
Yes.
So we can help implement that. Because if we don't know about it, it's hard to put it on our roadmap or put it on our radar. So we do value that feedback from you all.
Great. And I think we're just about out of time, but I did have some case studies. We will share this presentation in a PDF form, so you guys can look at it at your leisure. Maybe read through some of the case studies that we've done. I won't run through them today because they just will take more time than we have. But pretty fascinating problem solving that we were able to do. Like I said, we don't ever really want to walk away from a roof. We have come up with some pretty novel solutions in the past for really complex roofs. And we pride ourselves on that. We want to win every project that comes across our desks. We're extremely competitive, not just in price, but in the market, right? We want to win everything. We want to grab market share. And that's something that we're hoping that we are doing. All right. Any other questions?
Yep, there's a couple here.
Great.
How have commodity prices increases, aluminum/steel impacted product prices? Does Unirac have a strategy in place to stabilize costs to mitigate commodity fluctuations?
Yes, that's a great question. We've seen, geez, aluminum go up, double, right? 100%. And steel increases, geez,
3 times.
yeah, I mean, just crazy.
And you throw, freight costs or container costs are up 3.5 times as well over the year. There's a ton of things that are factoring into those commodity price increases. We do our best to help mitigate some of that. We have been very transparent with the position that we have, the commodity position we have as well, to help mitigate some of that stuff for customers. Our lead times speak for themselves, as we do have material available, so we're able to help try to invest into some material to help not pass that on right away. The increases we have seen recently have resulted in some increases in our product lines, but we do try to make those investments ahead of time to help support the customer.
Yeah.
But we are very transparent in that.
Yeah, we unfortunately did have to raise prices on our racking twice in the last year.
Yep.
I think that's unfortunate, but obviously we held out as long as we could, but it became untenable for us to continue to take on those cost increase.
One thing to know also with those price increases, of our portfolio, it ranges between different materials. We have the steel base, we have aluminum base, we have the ASA plastic base systems with EcoFoot. Right. So we're able to kind of pivot into what's more beneficial to the customer. And when we're doing those adjustments, we're doing them based strictly on which commodity is driving that impact, and not just let's blanket across our entire business. Let's see which ones can we not give in and hold it for a little bit longer while it hasn't seen that increase. So we do look at that very closely. Yeah. And we're able to pivot where a lot of other competitors are not able to pivot to other product lines that may be more favorable in the moment.
Yep. We do have a super diversified supply chain. Yep. And manufacturing facilities all over the world. So we're constantly, looking to get best pricing on our materials, our raw materials, and then hopefully passing those savings on to the customer and our distributors.
We've dual sourced, triple sourced a lot of our materials to help blanket that across. So we're not just, if something happens in one area, we're kind of screwed and able to get that material.
Yeah. And on a final note, we did have to raise prices. We are anticipating that once things stabilize and the supply catches up with demand and production kicks off for everybody to pre-pandemic levels, we look forward to being able to reduce our prices as fast as we can when our prices come down as well. So, I don't think that these prices are here forever. I do have some optimism that things will stabilize and we will see cost reductions coming down the road.
Great. And one last question. Is it recommended that the flash lock attachments be installed by a certified roofing contractor?
So it is not necessary at all for that to happen. That's the beauty of Flash Lock RM. Again, we will always defer though to the roof warranty holder on that question, because they're the ones, again, who are going to make that final determination. Our product does not require a roofer install it, but again, you always want to defer, or you always want to check in with the warranty holder on that roof to make sure that you're doing everything that they want you to do to be compliant and not void that warranty.
There's a lot of documentation we can help support and provide to that warranty holder to give them peace of mind. Okay, it's fine. They don't need a roofer to go and install that.
That's right.
So we have done that in the past, and we've been in contact with manufacturers to get those approval letters. And sometimes it's project by project basis, and sometimes we have blanket approvals. So it just depends on which manufacturer, which roof it is. So all that information helps us make that decision.
Yep.
Great. And just a couple of things before we go, everyone. This was recorded, so this will be shared in the November newsletters. If you'd like a copy earlier than that, please reach out to your appropriate sales rep. I'd like to direct you all to our website as well, our web shop. These products can all be found there. Our inventory levels, the spec sheets, the warranties, the install manuals are all there. So, and big thank you to Chris and Tristen. This is a fantastic presentation and really appreciate the relationship we have with you folks.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity to give it, and send us your projects and we'll win them together.
Thank you for being a partner.
Thanks, guys. And thanks everyone for attending. Really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks.